Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, starts now.
This is the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. Good evening, I'm Sabrina Brown. Thank you for joining us. The Prime Minister clarifying an important issue that impacts licensees of the Grand Bahama Port Authority. Executives of the port are commending the Prime Minister for his intervention. Shashina Roll reports.
As of July 1st of this 2014, the importation of duty-free goods under the Hawksbill Creek Agreement are no longer subjected to the 1% processing fee. But since then, some reports have stated that certain export and other fees on such goods have not been removed as promised by the government. While on Grand Bahama, the Prime Minister noted that the government will honor its commitment to Grand Bahama.
And I indicated at the very outset that because of the major impact of the shipyard on employment in Grand Bahama, on the economy of Grand Bahama, that we, the Bahamian people, we, the government, ought clearly to know firsthand the extent to which it impacts the economy of Grand Bahama and, of course, the economy of the Bahamas.
On Friday, Christie ordered that the glitch be corrected by the end of the day. The Grand Bahama Port Authority, through a press release, welcomed the news from the Prime Minister. Vice Chairman Sarah St. George thanked the nation's chief for his government's continued commitment to the growth of Freeport and Grand Bahama.
Whatever the misunderstandings were, whatever the misinterpretations were, that they settle it today. And I've been in discussions with the Financial Secretary in New Providence to ensure that his meetings with the Controller of Customs and the Controller of Customs discussions with his subordinates in Grand Bahama end up with the point that I was met with this morning with respect to what cruise ships, the difficulties that they may be faced with are not implementing.
The Prime Minister ended on this note.
So when I take off from Grand Bahama, I'm taking off in the spirit that the memorandum of understanding that I agreed to, right, from the government's point of view, directions were given a long time ago to implement, and it's a question now of ensuring that the work that the Minister for Grand Bahama has done in talking to the Ministry of Finance on your behalf and on behalf of all other industries are complied with. And so I just wanted to report to the press's point of view that governments do not enter into understandings in a place like Grand Bahama where it does not have the intention to fulfill in every which way the understanding we arrived at. That was my word, and my word will be fulfilled.
Shashina Roll, Zadaneth Network News.
Executives of the Grand Bahama Port Authority announcing plans for value-added tax readiness training in the coming weeks. President Ian Roll says education and planning will be essential for a smooth as possible implementation process come January 1st. Roll notes that while there are still some concerns looming as to how that will be implemented in the city of Freeport, it does not change the fact that businesses need to be prepared. The training will span 4 days, October 14th through 17th, and it will cover aspects of VAT, registration, reporting, and compliance, as well as training of software application. Port officials say they have met with officials at the Ministry for Grand Bahama, and Minister Michael Darville has assured them that the government is carefully reviewing all concerns regarding VAT on services put forward by GBPA and its licensees. But President Roll says this initiative is to assist licensees in planning, organizing, and educating themselves and customers regarding VAT. He says with less than 15 weeks before the start of the new year, time is of the essence. In other news, the unprecedented tourism growth over in Bimini is welcomed news as the government moves to develop the family islands, and there is concern that the threat of crime could adversely impact those efforts. But tonight, Joan Davis-Roll tells us a plan of action is in place to promote safety for residents and visitors alike.
The country's crime-fighting machinery are part of the government's overall tourism thrust. a thrust that not only includes armed forces protecting our borders by air, land, and by sea, but the record number of tourists visiting our shores as well. The presence of the country's top cop, along with the Minister of National Security, on one of this country's fastest growing tourist destinations, Bimini, according to the nation's leader, speaks volumes. In an interview with ZNS News, the National Security Minister, the Honorable Bernard Nottage, while on Bimini for the official commissioning of Resorts World Newport, weighed in on the significance of Bimini's overall development.
As you know, we have a population of about 3,000 people here. I think over the course of the next few months, more than a third of them will be employed just in this. That's the point number one. Point number two, opportunities are now being created for them to be able to develop their own businesses and provide services for the people who are going to be coming here. And I just hope they take advantage of it, because too often we want to be employed by other people.
With a record number of tourists laying low in Bimini, the lure of this tropical paradise could prove as a magnet for the criminal element as well. Minister Nottage says officers are not only ready but are challenged to remain vigilant. He underscored the vital role agencies under his charge must continue to play.
Safety is very important, otherwise people are not going to come. We have a good cadre of police officers here now. I had discussions with the commissioner and the assistant commissioner this morning about the strategies that they're using, and I'm satisfied that we're going to be able to keep this island safe.
Minister Nottage says they are committed to combating crime not only when it comes to the island of Bimini, but overall on many fronts.
The biggest problem in terms of is not so much the safety as security, to keep our borders secure, to deal with the illegal immigrants that are coming in, trafficking through our waters, both of human beings and of drugs and guns. And if you follow the news, you'll see that we're becoming much more active, particularly with tracing guns and tracing the human smuggling. And I'm satisfied that we have the right strategies for them to work and to keep us as safe as possible.
Joan Davis-Rowe, ZNS Network News.
A mother is taking the Ministry of Education to task, accusing the administration of a local school of violating her child's right to an education. The woman claims school officials refused to enroll her child into that public institution. Shashina Roll has the details.
Said, my daughter is not accepted in this school.
Those are the words Carly Martin says she heard as her child was denied into Sister Mary Patricia Russell Junior High School last Monday. Martin says when she first visited the school, she spoke with one of the officials about her daughter's enrollment.
She told me what all I needed. So she said, first of all, you have to go and do your physical. I asked her if this was my district for my daughter. She said, no, you live in the Hawksville area, this is not your district. So I said, every morning I see a lot of 50 kids or more in that area. And she graduated A honor roll from Maurice Moore. That was the school where they sent her. They gave me application for. So when she said, don't worry about that, because I said, I can take her to Sept then. She said, no, you can go and do the physical and come back to me.
She says for the next 2 days, she gathered 9 pieces of documentation, from her daughter's passport to national insurance card, and even the results of the child's physical examination.
It was raining and storming. I went and copied all my documents, came back to her. I gave it to the secretary. After 5 minutes, the secretary came out. She said, my daughter is not accepted in this school. I'm a Bahamian, and I want to know why.
She says she understands that the principal wanted even more documentation.
My mom died 27 years, and most of our bill, light and phone, is still under her name. My sister didn't have a bill in her name at my residence. Because of that, her son was denied by the same lady. Something has to be done.
Martin says she is frustrated that her daughter, who is a Bahamian, was denied entry into a public school. She says the situation became so overwhelming that it made both her and her daughter sick.
She cried, and I cried with Miss Edgecombe, and I said, I'm going to take it to a higher level. Something has to be done. I showed Miss Edgecombe everything I had. When I went to Mr. Jones at Sajak, I had everything, and he accepted me right away.
The child is now enrolled at Jack Hayward Junior High School. She says she was accepted with the same documents. Shashina Roll, ZNS Network News.
Now, ZNS News contacted Deputy Director of Education Sandra Edgecombe, who declined to give an official comment on the matter. A mother's concerned about the impact of video games on young people. Well, we'll take a break and come right back.
Bringing news that matters to you. You're watching the Bahamas Tonight Northern Edition.
Welcome back. Two noted physicians to be honored this weekend during the Grand Bahama Medical and Dental Conference. Tonight, one of the honorees talks about the recognition and his contributions to the medical profession. Megan Shepard reports.
He hails from St. Lucia, but has been living and practicing medicine here in the Bahamas for over 2 decades. And this weekend, Dr. Fermentus Leon will be honored for his work in obstetrics and gynecology. He says this recognition comes as a shock, but he is looking forward to celebrating with his family and his colleagues.
Initially a bit shocked, and obviously it was nice to realize that your colleagues appreciated whatever good work you've been doing for the community, and to say thank you for this. They decided to be one of the honorees this year, for which I am grateful to the Grand Bahama Medical Dental Association.
Dr. Leon says being in medicine is generally satisfying career, but OBGYN specifically offers even more rewards as he is able to help women through not only difficult pregnancies, but general illnesses.
To make matters even better, it's that there are some people who basically are really unable to have any kind of kids. They've not been able to fulfill this one desire of womanhood. And you can actually see them through from where they thought all hope was lost, and here they are now being able to share the joy of motherhood. So it really gives me great pleasure and satisfaction, fulfillment in seeing that I can actually help people get through this process.
While he does have a private practice, Dr. Leon also works with patients at the Rand Memorial Hospital and spends time working with teenagers at the PACE Center.
I've been actively involved in the services provided to a group of teenage pregnancies known as the PACE clinics. We do this once a week, every Thursday. From the hospital point of view, basically I partake in providing services, specifically antenatal, pregnant women, and gynecology service. Antenatal periods, we look after the mother, and we make sure she gets all the appropriate care to allow her to have a healthy, successful pregnancy and also a successful delivery.
Megan Shepard, ZNS Network News.
Another school in Grand Bahama is getting involved in the Go Green campaign. Principal of St. Paul's Methodist College, Lynn Glinton, says the school is aiming to complete the 7 Steps program by the end of the school year. This year, the school has also developed an agriculture and woodwork program for students who are not academically inclined. Glinton believes this will give them another focus and an opportunity to learn more about the environment.
This year, over the summer, Mrs. Hannah took the challenge of going to San Salvador for the brief program, and though reluctant at first, she was very much excited, and she came back with lots of ideas to implement into the school, and our program took off from that. We are all excited and looking forward to it being initiated and watching the steps develop as we go through the year.
Biology teacher Samantha Hanna attended the ecosystem workshop this summer. She says she will ensure that St. Paul's Methodist College becomes a more eco-friendly school and obtain their green flag.
Because we are so technology-based nowadays that the use of our cell phones, the use of our laptops, iPods, iPads, tablets, all of that has such an impact on our environment. It emits a lot of greenhouse gases. If we continue to emit all of these gases into the air, we're going to put our ecosystem, especially our coral reef ecosystems, into jeopardy, which is housing all of our food that we love to eat, our grouper, our conch, crawfish, etc. So we definitely want to take the important measures in ensuring that we are contributing to the positive side of making sure that we are a green school.
Last year, Meeting of the Minds hosted the first annual Culinary Fusion Expo, which caught the attention of over 400 guests, including locals, tourists, and students. This year, as the group gears up to host the expo in November, director of the event, Sean Johnson, says there are a lot of benefits in attending and supporting the event.
Vast amount of experience they can gain from this, not only getting to meet the owners and the chefs one-on-one, but also getting to sample what they have and asking questions and getting referrals and networking, basically. And this is the place for networking.
15-year-old chocolatier Letesse Bartlett is the owner of Chocolatesse, her very own chocolate making business with a Bahamian twist. Bartlett attended Culinary Fusion last year and was so impressed that she decided to become a part of the event again this year.
Of South Beach Food Festival inside the United States, but how Mr. Johnson came and he made it here locally, I thought that was very amazing, you know. It was different. It was very different. The food was excellent. The service, I mean, it was just phenomenal, and that really helped and inspired me to become a part of it this year.
The expo featured over 20 local vendors in 2013, and this year will feature many more as the invitation has been extended to other islands. The event is scheduled for November 8th at the Pelican Bay Resort. And that's a look at news, but don't go away. Sports is up next with Ricardo Lighthorn.
Hey everybody, and welcome to Sports and Ricardo Live. When this one goes out to Elsie White over there and James' sister Niluthra. She's sitting back and enjoying this one. Here we go. The Oriole knows Susanna Nesbitt High School volleyball season, folks, is officially underway. Megan Shepard was courtside for the first day to set and serve.
2015 high school volleyball season kicking off Wednesday afternoon at the St. George's Gymnasium. Both junior and senior teams taking to center court. Treasurer of the Grand Bahama Secondary Schools Athletic Association, Wayne Smith, says he's pleased that all schools are involved this year.
We are extremely pleased with the outcome on the start of our season where all schools are on board. So we're going to have a fantastic season. In the senior category, last year, St. George's and the senior boys and Bishop Michael Allen and the senior girls went on into New Providence and played in the national championship. So we look forward in going back and repeating as champions and runners-up in that event. So as far as Grandmama's always been on board, ready to go on an excellent volleyball season we will have.
Now, while Smith is pleased that all schools are participating, he is disappointed that a recent decision is having a negative impact on the junior division.
It is an unfortunate situation that we stand now where the government are taking a stand that the PE teachers in the government school would only be paid a certain amount of allowances, and which cuts out a lot of their junior program. So the government needs to rethink that and bring to the table the PE teachers to iron out that particular age group, because to start off the season, you always have to be mindful that your junior program is your development program. So we're going to leave a big void in the junior section of our program.
Smith says this will have negative effects because some students will not make the team and will now be left idle after school hours. In the senior division, however, Smith says the association is moving full speed ahead with its growth.
We are full speed ahead as far as an association goes in terms of high school. We were always prepared to work after school with our children. As a result, you can see the growth and development of volleyball has climbed in Grandmama. So we don't stop our intention of doing that. We just want everyone to be on board with our program and what we're trying to accomplish, the government.
Games continue at the St. George's and YMCA gymnasiums. Megan Shepard, ZNS Total Sports.
Thanks, Megan. On court yesterday, Tabernacle Junior Girls defeating Sunderland 21-8, 18-21 and 15-10. The BMAS Warriors defeated Sister Mary Patricia 21-11, 20-22 and 15-5. As far as the senior girls, well, Tabernacle with a pretty good one, 21-50 and 21-20. And the BMAS Warriors all defeated St. George's 16-21, 21-19 and 15-8. The boys played today. Tell you what they did tomorrow. The Abaco Softball Association playoffs continued last night over there, and Hopetown Wreckers defeating the Simple Solution. Get the score, 7-6. That series all tied at 2 games all. Aaron Knowles posted a 3-for-4 3 RBI game. Adrian Biff Henschel gave us some 6 runs on 5 hits and struck out 9 batters, and the loss went to Josh Roll. They'll play again on Friday at the Murphydown Ballpark. And also the Grand Bahama Amateur Softball Association, they will start their playoffs tonight at the GB Sports Complex, weather permitting, folks. The Portside Flyers and First Class Jets in the ladies opener at 7 o'clock. The men's feature game will put Controlled Chemical Sweepers up against the Arising Couriers. And former National Women's Softball Team player Nancy Russell was laid to rest on Sunday past. She was a super athlete, consummate professional, and a wonderful mother, and more. Family, friends, colleagues, and teammates gathered at the community hall in his church in 8 Mile Rock to bid farewell to former national team softball player and athlete Joan Agatha Nancy Russell. Nancy was an exceptional athlete. GM of Grand Lucan Resort Ben Davis spoke of her highly.
She had done an extraordinary job at the resort during her time there. Absolutely extraordinary. She's been through many difficulties and she's been able to overcome them, whether it's her health or whether it was to do with her job. But she overcame them. If she ever had a problem, she would give me a call.
ISF Hall of Famer, past president of Bahama Softball Federation and member of Parliament for Central Grand Bahama, Nico Grant, went back to the World Softball Championship in Taipei, China. 62 teams with the Bahamas playing for the 9th spot in the world, July 1982, and Nancy came through.
Today, as we mourn her passing, let us celebrate her life. My wife Barbara, members of the softball community, join me in extending to members of the bereaved family our sincere condolences on her passing. May God grant her rest eternally.
Minister of Tourism, Member of Parliament for West Grand Bahama and Bimini, Obi Wilscombe, said Nancy was one of a kind. She was more than a friend. She was a family member, a cornerstone in the 8 Mile Rock community.
She's not been put in the spotlight as often as others, but the truth is she was an incredible star. She was an incredible player. And this community of 8 Mile Rock has produced so many great ones. So many great ones that for the past several years we've said goodbye to many. We said goodbye to Junior Grant. We said goodbye to John Mark. We said goodbye to Perry just the other day, and now we say goodbye to Nancy.
Joan Agatha Nancy Russell was 55 years young. Another legend is gone, but not forgotten. Now, the Golden Eagles Track Club, also sponsored by the Grand Bahama Power Company, folks, as you do know, they too now will have to bid farewell to one of their coaching staff. The Eagles team celebrated the life of a young man who, today, is going to be missed by many. The Grand Bahama Power Company Golden Eagles Track Club are in training with heavy hearts. The athletes and coaches will bid farewell to their coach, Dwayne Jennings. Coach Clarita Hall says that Coach Jennings' illness to his death, the club is trying to cope.
Even though we're going through a difficult time, we know that Coach Jennings, he put his all into the club, and for that we can rest at ease as coaches to carry on the legacy that he has left behind. Coach Jennings was a no-nonsense when it comes to track and field, so we believe that as we go through this track year, we're going to take that to heart and we're going to run with it.
The Golden Eagles training regimen has been one of conditioning and stamina. Coach Ali Rolls feels the recovery from Coach Jennings' death is an ongoing process.
Well, they're pretty good. You know, they over it, just about over. I know when the funeral comes around, they're going to get back. Emotional stuff, but for now they're over it.
What is the mission statement for the Golden Eagles this year?
Well, this year they're all going to decide to wear a shirt with his name and picture on it, and every track meet they're going to dedicate him.
The parents of the athletes are helping them in terms of getting through this difficult time. Coach Dwayne Brandon Jennings' funeral is set for Saturday, 12 noon, a community at Heart Church on Coral Road.